Welcome in Chipola Nation. I'm Donnie Tyndall, head basketball coach here at Chipola College. Today I have with me my entire coaching staff. To my right, Trent Short is my associate head coach. Been with me for 2 years now. Right directly to my left is Philip Pattison. Philip has been with us the last 2 years as well. And then to his left, all the way down, is Connor Anders. Connor is a newcomer this year, first year in the program, was a graduate manager for Coach Huggins at West Virginia, and then a graduate assistant last year at Western Carolina. I'm going to let these guys talk more in depth, but I say this, I've been here a long time, 6 years now. I've had guys move on to every level. I've had guys that left here to go to Memphis as an assistant coach. I got a young man, Brandon Shingles, who's at Cal State Northridge. Other guys that have went on to Division I assistant spots, and 3 different guys have went on to become head junior college coaches, including Lane Blue over at Gulf Coast State, who's an outstanding young coach. I say all that to say these guys are in that mold. This is probably the most complete, best coaching staff since I've been here, and that's not shortchanging anybody else or any other staff, but these guys are outstanding. All will be Division I assistants at some point in their career, or head small college coaches, junior college coaches, if they choose that route as well. So anyway, let's get started. Coach Trent Short, let's tell Chipola Nation a little bit about yourself, where you played high school ball, etc.
Yeah, so I grew up right outside of Pensacola, Florida, in a town called Pace. I went to Pace High School for 4 years. Then I went to the University of Mobile and played 4 years there. I was a very, very average player. And then I got into the coaching realm and went up to Missouri for a year at NAIA school, and then went back to Mobile, and then started out JUCO basketball at Jones College in Mississippi, and then got lucky enough to get the job here with Coach Tyndall, and been here for 2 years with him now.
And you talk about your high school career, he's probably being pretty modest. He is a very good small college player. Had 28 or 30 points against South Alabama in a Division I game versus his school. So he's better than he's leading on here. But one thing that I think is really important with a lot of young coaches in their background is his dad was a high school coach for many years. Outstanding coach in himself, right? And I have 2 daughters. My oldest daughter in particular was around that gym with me day and night. And what was it like growing up being a coach's kid?
Well, it's good and bad because you get more of like the coach aspect than the dad aspect at times when you don't want it.
Yeah.
And so, but it is enjoyable being around someone who can help you learn the game throughout your stages of growing up, and then being around his teams and players and getting to spend time with them is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everyone asked me when I was growing up, was I a coach's kid? Because I played a lot like a coach's kid, but I wasn't, and certainly think I would have enjoyed that. That's pretty cool, some special times. I know it was great for my daughters being part of our teams. And then real quick before we move on to Philip, you played for an outstanding coach in Darnell Archie, who's was a great player at Butler for Brad Stevens, has done a great job at Mobile. You left him to go be a graduate assistant, and then you were with Coach Newton Mueller at Jones, who has an outstanding junior college program, and he's an outstanding coach. So you've been around some good people, some good coaches, including all the way back to your dad. So Trent's got a great background, and that's, led him to, how old, 26, Trent? 26 years old, and I think he'll have an opportunity to be a head junior college coach somewhere this spring. So, all right, Philip. You're the Midwestern guy. You don't have a whole lot of Southern ties like Coach Trent, but let's tell our audience where you're from and your background, if you would.
Yeah, so I'm from Kansas City. I grew up on the Kansas side, and then in high school I moved to the Missouri side. I went to a small school called West Platte for 4 years, played basketball 4 years. Then out of high school I went to Baker University, which is a small NAIA school, and I played basketball for 2 years before I transferred to UMKC. And I was a student assistant for Coach Marvin Menzies for 2 years, and it was a great experience getting to learn what a Division I program is like, how it operates, and also just learning a lot of stuff about coaching as well. And then after I graduated, received my bachelor's degree, I moved down here and worked for Coach Tyndall the last 2 years, so I've been fortunate to be down here.
Well, and Philip, he and Trent debate back and forth at times about who is the better shooter of the two. Have we solidified that vote or rectified that argument at all between you two, who the better shooter is, Phil?
I think I'm definitely better.
You definitely,
100%.
no doubt about it.
No
All right,
doubt.
we'll end it right there, Trent. We'll end-
No
no
comment,
rebuttal.
no
No
comment
rebuttal. Well, and Philip, like you mentioned, he was able to be in the UMKC program for a couple years. Marvin Menzies, an outstanding coach who was an assistant to Rick Pitino, Coach Pitino at one time. So that's a great learning experience, being around a guy like that. Now, we're not going to let you get off the air without talking about our good luck charm. So why don't you tell our audience, Chipola Nation, a little bit about your wife and your little guy?
Yeah, so apparently my child is the good luck charm. I have a boy who just turned 5 months old. His name's Charlie. And he started coming to the games when we started our 5-game win streak. And they made me bring him every game now. So there's no games he can miss.
Some of those late night games,
Yeah.
It was up for debate if he was going to be able to make it. I said, nope, Charlie's going to be here. We've won 3 in a row. Then it was 4 in a row. Then it was 5 in a row. So I don't think there's any doubt the little fella's a good luck charm for us. And hopefully he'll bring that luck to the regional tournament coming up next week. All right, Connor Anders, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know I talked to you a lot about working for Coach Huggins, who's a guy I really looked up to and respect in the profession. But tell us about your background, if you would.
Absolutely. So I'm from Martinsburg, West Virginia. It's a small town in West Virginia, about 45 minutes away from Washington, D.C. Went to high school at Martinsburg High School, played basketball and baseball. And then once my playing career ended, I decided I wanted to go to school, went to West Virginia. And as Coach Tyndall spoke on, I was able to work for Coach Huggins in West Virginia University as a student manager for 4 years. Learned a lot as Coach Phillip touched on, being able to work around a Division I program and learn how it runs, learn how it operates, and kind of see the ins and outs was extremely beneficial for me. Was around great players and great coaches, learned a ton. And then when my time there was up, I went to Western Carolina University last year, worked for Coach Tim Kraft, and was fortunate enough to go there, get my master's, and again, just kind of build on my learning experience in the game of basketball and in life, really. And then the opportunity presented itself to come down here to Chipola and work for Coach Tyndall. And it was a no-brainer for me. Just the history of Chipola basketball and the players and the coaches that have been here. It was, as I said, it was really a no-brainer to come down here and build on my coaching career.
And a neat story, obviously if you work for Coach Huggins, and Coach Kraft's an outstanding coach as well, but if you work for Coach Hugs, you're a grinder. You got no choice in that matter, right? But one story I think was pretty cool. I was interviewing Connor for the position here, had 4 or 5 guys that I was speaking to about it. And after he finished his GA internship or whatever that's called, and he's graduated and looking for a coaching job, he went home for a few weeks. I said, well, what are you going to be doing while you're at home? And, he said, well, my dad does some construction stuff, so I'll be doing some roofing. And, that immediately resonated with me from the standpoint of, if here's a guy that's been in college basketball for 5 years, just earned his master's, and he's going home for a few weeks to be out in the hot sun roofing to make a few dollars so he can come to a place like Chipola where he's not going to make much money, that really stood out to me and probably separated himself from the group of the other guys, just because if you have that type of work ethic, right, you're probably going to be pretty good in this profession. So we're glad all 3 guys are here. They all kind of mentioned why they chose Chipola. And I guess my thing, Trent, you've been here 2 years. I'll get to Phillip in a minute on this. But we had a good team last year, right? We won the conference outright, went to the regional tournament, went to the national tournament. How do you compare this year's team, which just won our 6th consecutive conference title, to last year's team?
This year's team, last year's team, we had 7 or 8 guys returning. So we had a little more experience, guys that have been through your program. This year with 15 to 17 new guys, it was different experience because you got a lot of guys that really never been through it. And so I think this year we've got a more talented group than we had last year, offensively especially. But I think we don't have, it hurts not having, especially early in the year, that experience that we had last year. But I do think this group is a lot more social and entertaining group to coach. I think the people around campus really enjoy how social and outgoing this group is.
Yeah. And how about you, Phil? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with everything Coach Trent said, but one thing that sticks out to me is I think they just play for each other. They're really stuck together, and they really battle for each other every night. So
This year's group.
yeah, this year.
So if you had to say, if we were playing, our team this year was playing last year's team at this exact time, who do you think would win
This year's.
this year?
This year.
I'm going with the defensive side of the ball. I'm saying last year, but we still have games left to be played.
Gotta score in tournament time. Gotta score in
Yeah.
tournament time.
Well, all right, let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about this, Connor. What's your favorite part of coaching?
My favorite part of coaching is really just seeing these guys grow and develop, not just on the court, but off it. Some guys that may have struggled in realms outside of basketball. Maybe it's academically, maybe it's personally, but seeing them grow as people is really what I love about it. So.
Yeah, that's cool. How about you, Phil?
Yeah, that's the same thing. I like watching guys progress and taking their games to the next level. It's really incredible to me.
Yeah. How about you, Coach?
Yeah, definitely the relationship aspect, with whether it's recruiting or with other coaches and your team. Like, when guys call back from previous years and say, hey, Coach, I did this, this, and this, and like just them telling you those things, like it shows that you made an impact on their life. And then the basketball side of it, the fun part is scheming, coming up with a game plan, and then seeing that game plan be successful.
Yep. Guys like Donald Bangham calling back.
Donald Bangham.
Yeah, Coach Trent basically adopted Donald Bangham a year ago, and it's so cool. Donald had some ups and downs like all college players do, but to this day, he'll check in with Coach Trent about once a week and just give him an update on his season and his life and his school, and so it's pretty cool. It really is. I love that part of coaching, but I certainly love practice. That's my most favorite time.
Yeah.
All right, I ask the players this all the time, and I think this is important because coming up, whether it's coaching, business, teaching, a CEO, whatever it happens to be, someone has really impacted your life and helped you. Just sometimes it's more than just one. But if you had to pick one, maybe two people in your life, Coach Trent, that has been the most influential person in your life, who would it be and why?
Well, number one would probably be my sister. She's probably one of the most encouraging and motivating people on this planet. Like, whether I do a very, very bad job at something, she'll tell me I did a good job. So she's the one that when you have a lot of ups and downs in this profession, like she's helped me get through that and motivated me. And then number two would be Darnell Archie that I worked with at Mobile. He really got me into this profession. He kind of came in my junior year of college and gave me that love again for basketball, and he's been the guy that's just really helped me get to this point. And he's I still call him every day and talk to him every day. And so he's been very influential in this.
Yeah, well, Coach Archie, I've got to know him through you, and just a class act, a great guy, an outstanding basketball coach, but you can tell he's just a great human being. And I've met Trent's sister, great gal. Like my sister, she's a cat lady, right?
Yeah.
So all cat ladies, according to my sister, are great people, and she certainly is a great gal as well. I'm glad she comes to a lot of games, right? One of your biggest fans, so
Watches every game.
it's pretty cool stuff. All right, Phil, how about you?
For me, it'd have to be my parents. Coaching is a really tough industry. It might be money, moving all the time, all that stuff, job security. But my parents have always supported me and wanted me to do this and follow my passion. So I really got to give it up for them.
Yeah, and sometimes the parents got to help with the finances, right?
Yeah.
My folks had to do that my first year or two, and when you have a family supporting you like that, that's huge. So good stuff. How about you, Connor?
Kind of the same thing of what Philip said. Everybody at this table knows that your first few years getting into coaching, it's more so you're doing it for the love of it, not as much for the profit. So I would say my parents have been just so supportive of me and my goals, my aspirations in coaching, and I couldn't have done it or been here without them. So definitely my parents.
Good stuff. Well, look, we've got an outstanding coaching staff here. Chipola Nation should be very proud to have them. They represent our program, our department, our college the exact right way. They built incredible relationships across across our campus community with administrators, and that's important. As a head coach, you want your assistant coaches to be liked and appreciated across the board, and these guys are certainly that. I'm proud to have them, and very grateful to have them in our program. And I think all these guys, as I mentioned, will be Division I assistants if they so choose, or head coaches at some point in time. So it's good getting to visit with these guys. I'll give you a quick update on our team. We are currently 23-7. As I mentioned, we tied for the championship, co-champs, I guess it's called, but it's our 6th straight year of being the Panhandle Conference champs. We're extremely proud of that. And the last poll of the national rankings, we were 7th in America. We're getting ready for the regional tournament, which starts on the 11th. In the first round, we'll play Florida Southwest out of the Fort Myers area. They have an outstanding team ranked in the top 20 the second half of the season. So first round's going to be a battle. And when we win that, we'll probably play Northwest Florida on their home floor in the semifinals. And after the regional tournament, we certainly expect to be in the national tournament out in Hutchinson, Kansas. So maybe we'll have one more show as this thing winds down. But I just want everyone to know how much we appreciate your support, attending games, whatever it may be. We appreciate you and love you. And go Indians.